It's a party and you're invited. The Guardian himself, Medivh, is hosting a grand shindig at his castle Karazhan. There'll be dancing, stage performances, giant chess matches, and wait a minute. Isn't this the same Medivh that got himself possessed by Sargeras and brought the orcs in to start a war? Your charming smile doesn't fool me. I'm onto you. Hearthstone's latest adventure, One Night in Karazhan, features 4 wings, all based off the raid from Burning Crusade. Like many Hearthstone editions, it's a not-so-serious adaptation of a World of Warcraft setting, but despite that, there's some solid lore backing for Medivh throwing huge parties in his tower. Let's take a look at the history of Medivh and how this all fits in. Medivh is the son of Aegwynn, Guardian of Tirisfal. I don't actually know if it's pronounced that way, so let's just ignore that for the moment. And his father's a mage named Neelis Aaron. He was born in a big by Aegwynn to not have to give up her powers as the Guardian, instead transferring them to her son. However, in her lifetime, she had been infected with the spirit of Sargeras, fallen titan, and leader of the Burning Legion, many demons. She passed along this spirit to her son. This would shape Azeroth for many years to come. Despite this, he lived a normal life for a time, learning to become a mage in his own right and living in the Tower of Karazhan with his father. However, on his 14th birthday, he fell into a coma, awakening only to exhibit an explosion of power that took 100 clerics to contain and killed his father. Teenagers, right? He was cared for by his friend Anduin Lothar and some clerics for the next 20 years. It was during this time that Sargeras took hold of Medivh, twisting his mind to his own evil deeds. Upon awakening, he easily convinced those who cared for him that he was well and returned to his studies as a mage, but in reality he plotted against the humans of Stormwind. He made contact with Gul'dan on Draenor, and they built the Dark Portal which allowed the Horde to invade Azeroth and start off the events of Warcraft 1. No one on Azeroth knew of his darker side for a time, and we can presume quite a few things about this time thanks to the details found in the raid. The large banquet hall, ballroom, and opera house shows that the mage was not quite a hermit, clearly hosting at least one party and several shows. The backstage is set up for 3 different shows, so unless his audience saw 3 shows in one night, it can be assumed that he was a host more than once. In addition, further into the tower we find quite a few bedrooms, which shows that when Medivh throws a party, you're not leaving for days. Or you need a bedroom for something other than sleeping. Medivh isn't here to judge, Medivh is here to party. Unlike the Hearthstone adventure, however, these parties didn't have a happy ending. All the patrons and staff are ghosts and the bedrooms are full of succubi. It's clear that once the jig was up on his evil schemes, Medivh's last party resulted in the death of everyone there and the summoning of quite a few evil entities. Many are trapped in their last evening, dancing, setting up for shows, or preparing for guests. There are some special guests in the Morose encounter in the banquet hall for the keen-eyed. These 5 individuals share last names with some of the denizens of Darkshire, so we can assume that they may have been part of the town council at some point. There wasn't much time for cleanup, though. Once Medivh was discovered as the one who brought the orcs to Azeroth, he was hunted down in a secret basement of his tower and killed by Anduin and his apprentice Khadgar, though in the process Khadgar was magically aged to that of a wizened old man. He's a silver-haired fox now, though, so it all worked out. Rare. The tower, however, fell into disrepair. No one quite knew the depths of all of its enchantments or oddities quite like Medivh, so anything could happen there. The ghost of his father took up residence alongside many demons, ghosts, and leftover arcane constructs. The Dark Riders continue to collect artifacts and store them in the catacombs, and we're not going to talk about the crypts because the Room of Upside-Down Sinners creeps me out. Google it sometime. Not for the faint of heart. Medivh's tower still remains a strange and important piece of Azeroth's history. With the announcement of it being remade as a dungeon in patch 7.1, we can only imagine what sorts of new oddities have made the tower their home since we last cleared it out. But one thing is for sure, when there's a party at Karazhan, it's one that no one will ever forget.